Physical science chupacabras. We are back at it. So, our first section, we just covered introduction to forces and how it makes things move. This part of the unit, will cover friction quick, and then we'll learn about something called FBDs, which stands for a free body diagram. That's how we show the forces acting on an object. So, two little things to cover today. To start off with friction, I think you guys have an idea of what friction is, but it's important you guys understand the force of friction always opposes motion. So if a force is acting on something to the right, friction is acting on it to the left. And it's the reason why it's hard for us to move things sometimes. It's why things will stop. And one of the important things about this is there'll be a question at some point about if I threw a ball in outer space. If I threw a ball in outer space, it would keep going forever and ever and ever at the same exact speed in the same direction. The reason why that doesn't happen on Earth is because of air resistance and gravity, which is a type of friction. So let's look at some examples here. Again, the force of friction always opposes, opposite direction of motion. Our first example, a ball rolls down a hallway. We know on Earth that the ball will not keep rolling and rolling and rolling because of friction. So eventually, the ball will roll to a stop because of the unbalanced force of friction. If the ball is rolling to the right, friction acts on it to the left and eventually causes it to stop. Another example, there's lots of examples in the real world that we need friction in order to move. So track sprinters wear spikes when they're on the track racing. The reason why is because it increases the amount of friction that takes place between those two things. And we'll learn about Newton's third law, and what that does is it allows the sprinter to push off, and that friction, that change in between the atoms, allows that person to push forward more, and it helps them apply more force. Okay, so there's lots of real life examples. Friction is how a match works on the side of a matchbox. We'll cover a little bit about how important friction is with wheels. It's one of the reasons why we throw sand on the ground in the winter with ice, because it gives us friction. Or even in Colorado, a lot of big semis put chains on their tires. What really is happening with friction is that we know nothing is perfectly smooth. So really what happens here is these uneven edges, when we look at the atoms of an object, they're rubbing together, and that's what makes friction happen. It's also why when I go like this with my hands, it gets hot because of those uneven surfaces. Free body diagrams now, so friction will be a force we'll use. Free body diagrams, are also called FBDs, are how we show the forces acting on an object. So these are complicated ones, but you can see that this block has something pulling down on it, something's pushing up on it, the block is pushing upwards on it, and we'll label these forces as we get better and better when we're drawing our diagrams. So it's important we need to remember for free body diagrams, guys, we don't need to be fancy. If the problem says a corgi sits on the cement, we don't have to draw a corgi. What we usually just use is a box. So if a dog is just sitting on the cement, the first force you'll always draw is downwards, because we know that on planet Earth there's always a force pulling downwards on us. That is called the force due to gravity. Usually we'll write forces as a capital F, and then we'll subscript write what the force truly is. We can put F of G as the force of gravity. Now, if I stopped right now, that corgi would be falling and falling and falling, and we know that that's not the case. So if the corgi's sitting there, something has to be pushing back up on it, and we don't think about it like this, but really what's happening is that the ground is pushing back up on the dog. And now we can see with these forces, they cancel each other out, and that's why the dog is at rest. So we show this force as the force of the ground on the corgi, because the ground's pushing back up. And just like in math, when we have an equilateral triangle, we can put little tick marks on those two forces to show that they're equal. And what we can now say is that those two things cancel out. So up and down cancel out, which means the net force on that object, that corgi, is 0, which means he's just sitting there at rest. He's not moving. You got to think about what forces are acting on that object and what story is it telling when you're all done. Do your forces match up with its motion? Since the corgi's sitting there, we know the forces should cancel out and be balanced, which they are in this case. Example number 2 is a mug sits on a table. So just to visualize, I put a little example here. We start off with a little easy box. There's Mr. Mug. We know that the force of gravity is pulling down on that mug. Now, if I look at this picture, why isn't the mug falling? The reason why is because the table is pushing, oops, I put book instead of mug there. but the table's pushing back up on that mug. Okay, now we don't think about a table as applying a force, but we know that it's resisting the force of gravity, that mug pulling downwards. And again, since it's just sitting there, those two things are going to cancel each other out. Okay, so there's my little tick marks again, and again the object's at rest. Let's do one more example here. A boy pushes a cart to the right and the cart speeds up. So, boom, I got my force of gravity downwards. I know the ground is pushing back up on the cart. Usually if we have something underlined in the problem, that's what we're drawing. So we're not drawing the boy here, we're drawing the cart. Up and down cancel each other out, but we know the cart is speeding up. So there's the push of the boy on the cart. He's pushing it to the right. And we have to remember, a lot of kids would stop here, but if the cart's moving to the right, we know friction is always opposing that motion. So it's in the opposite direction, and you can see how little I make this arrow here, and that makes a lot of sense. F of F stands for the force of friction, and if we compare the right and the left arrows, everybody, we can see the arrow to the right is way, way bigger, which means the net force is going to be to the right, and if there's a net force to the right, the object will accelerate to the right, which is exactly what we set up here. So when you're drawing your free body diagram, start with your box. Always start with gravity. Think about the object. Is it falling? Is it sitting? Is it going fast to the right? Is it going fast to the left? And then think about if they're unbalanced or balanced forces and mark the net force if it applies there. We'll do a couple more example problems, but this will help you get started on your assignment.